Hi, so I would just love to tell you a neat story of how God led us in our homeschool journey because I think it's a really incredible illustration of how God leads us and how sometimes when He leads us, we can totally assume different things. When He speaks to us about something, we add in our own timing or we add in our own thoughts about something. So basically what happened is we moved into Denver, and the Denver public schools are really not that great, and especially the schools that the boys would go to, we wouldn't even consider it. So we were praying about what we should do, and we believed that God led us to homeschool. And so that's what we were going to do. We had a decision, we were moving forward, and my husband was at the park, and our kids were playing with some other kids, and the husband walks up to my husband, the wife walks up to my husband and starts telling him about this really great Christian classical school that's super close, like a block away from the park, 2 blocks from here. And so he comes home with her phone number telling me about how great this school is. And I'm thinking, okay, 1, I'm not calling some strange lady from the park, and 2, we have a plan. Like, why would we look at another option when we already made a decision and we already are confident in what God has for us? And so there's just no way I wasn't going to call the lady. And then 2 weeks later, we were at the park again, and my kids were playing Narnia with some other kids. And so the husband walked up to me saying, "Are they playing Narnia?" And it's rare to meet other believers in our area, since 95% of Denver area are unchurched. So other Christians are just not common. So then he starts telling me about this really awesome brand new Christian classical school that just started up a block away. And I'm thinking, oh man, are you the husband of the wife that my husband met? And trying to figure it out, and I couldn't remember her name, so I couldn't figure it out. So he gave me his wife's phone number, and I went to the park with this lady's phone number, and I'm still thinking, I'm not gonna call some lady, "Hey, I met your husband at the park." That's weird, right? So I'm not gonna call. And we already have a plan. Why would I look into something else when we had a plan and we know that God had led us in that plan? So 2 weeks later, father-in-law is in town. We took him up to Chick-fil-A, which is really pretty far away. And we went up there, and Asher comes running up to me and says, my friends are here. And I said, "Oh, sweetie, I don't think so, because we're so far away." And so he goes back and he's playing, and I'm telling my father-in-law about these 2 experiences at the park and how it's so crazy. And as I'm telling him the story, this lady walks up and is like, "Are you Asher and Uriah's mom?" And I was like, "Yes," thinking, oh no, what did they do now? And she said, "Oh, well, I met your husband at the park the other day." And I said, "Oh, are you the one that was telling him about the school?" And she said, "Yes." Turns out she's not married to the man that I met at the park, somebody totally different. But she got my email, she sent me some information meetings. Still, I'm like, we have a plan. I just really felt like it was gonna waste my time and waste my energy to look into another option when we already knew what God had for us, right? So apparently I'm like, when it talks about goads, like don't be like the goats, or the cattle that need a goad. That was totally like that. So anyway, she emails me the information meetings, and I get the email, and I'm still thinking, I just don't want to go. Who has time to do an information meeting? And this one day, I was walking around, I was doing ministry on campus, and I just could not get it out of my mind. So I looked at the email, and I thought I should just find out if I could even go to any of them. So the only information meeting I could go to was that evening. So I thought, I better just go, So I walk in, and I was dumbfounded by what the kids were learning, how they taught things, and how God was the center of it all. Like, it was just my whole teaching philosophy and what I wanted the kids to get, they were teaching. And I thought, this is really incredible. But the crazy thing is right when I walked in, the very first person I saw was this lady that there was also another totally crazy divine appointment with. Earlier that year, we had taken some students on a retreat. We're in the mountains at Grand Lake, and I was talking with this student that lived with us at the time, and then she ended up living with this other family. She's telling us about this other family, like, I think you would love them. They have kids your same age, and they live a block away from you, and I think you guys would really get along. And so there, she's telling me about it. We're walking along in Grand Lake. She looks up, and the lady she's talking about is right there. She's right there. She's like, oh, actually, there she is. So we got to meet right then. Well, that's the lady I ran into at the information meeting. It was like, I met you. So it was just really crazy. We got the boys signed up. They went to the school. They had scholarships. We could actually afford it. And it was so incredible. For the next 2 years, they went to Highlands Classical Academy, and it was amazing because what it did for the kids was amazing. They got classroom experience. They got to learn from other kids their own age, how to like sit still and raise their hand and be normal type of things. But also I helped out in the class, so I got to get a lot of experience with kind of being a teacher. So it was so good for me. It was so good for the kids. But then 2 years later, as we were praying again, and I got pregnant with number 6, we were just thinking about financially, it's just not possible, really, in our budget, missionary budget, to have 6 kids in private school. So we decided to homeschool, and the aha moment went off in my head. It was like, oh, God did want us to homeschool, but he had a little detour. He had a route and the timing of how he wanted it to accomplish it, which was very different. And there's no way I could have known how he would have wanted to do it just by him leading us to homeschool in the first place. So I'm so grateful on how he chose to do that because I'm completely confident, more confident, and the kids are more ready to be homeschooled. So it's just a cool story, and I really wanted it to share for you.
Bye.